So, hello, and welcome. All right, we are doing secret code name readings today. It is the new moon in Aries. These are the self-made themed secret code names. This one in particular is Emerald Rose. All right, Emerald Rose is someone's personal secret code name. It is their personal reading. If you have been drawn to it or resonated to it in divine time, there is most likely a message in here for you to take away from it. If you would ever like your own personal reading via secret code name, you can book them through my Etsy shop in the description. All right, you can also get other cool merch there, like my Goddess Kali t-shirt, whose energy today is helping us destroy our demons, right? Goddess Kali is the destroyer of demons, and so we're bringing in her energy in order to not just face our shadows, but stomp all over them. Legit, right? Goddess Kali is fucking awesome. So I've called her in today for these readings to help address how to best remake or make yourself in your highest light. So I'm using my Icarus Tarot for a milestone energy and what the healing or shadow is. Then I'm using my Hermetic Tarot for insights into the current pattern of self and the new and improved pattern of self, what that should look like. And then I'm using my Universe Has Your Back deck as guidance. All right, so secret code name, Emerald Rose. Let's get right into it. Spirit, please, what is the milestone in the healing? What is it? The Chariot. The Chariot as to what is healing. The Chariot card in the vibration of 7 is divine intervention and miracle and movement. Okay. It's in movement. Sometimes even when we're standing still, when we are emotionally expressive or we are emotionally vulnerable in our own truth, our own emotional truth about the reality and what we feel, we can shift, right? It's like saying that you enjoy or love your life or whatever, you love your person, right? Let's just use a hypothetical. You love your partner, you love your person. But the reality is you're upset often, or you're not considered often, or you're feeling neglected often, or you're feeling whatever, right, that is negative often. Are you really in love with your partner though? You know what I mean? Like, you might love them, but you don't love your experience with them. And it's about acknowledging that truth, right? That emotional truth. Like, yeah, I love them, but I don't actually feel good more often than not being with them. That's about being emotionally vulnerable. That you would be able to be honest with yourself, like, yes, I love them, but I'm not really loving my experience. I don't feel good more often than I feel good, right? Or I feel good, but I really want to feel great, and this is not great. Maybe I'm stressed all the time. It's no different with a job. Like, I love my job, but every time you go to your job and you're stressed out, you have a lot on your plate, you don't actually enjoy the work, you come home tired, you come home beat, you have all this anxiety, and it's like, do you really love your job then? Maybe you love the line of work, but maybe that place could be a better one. You know, maybe there's something else in that field that resonates that's not as emotionally taxing on you, right? As another example. So it's about being very emotionally vulnerable with the self and honest with the self in order to create the shift. But like, yeah, I love it, but I'm not actually feeling good in the vibration of it. So it has to shift, right? It has to shift. So what is, Spirit, please, the current pattern of self that needs to shift? And what is the ideal version of self, please, that they can shift into, right? Secret code name, Emerald Rose, and those who are drawn to it in divine time. What else? Okay. Two of Wands on the bottom. Temperance on top. All right, so with the Temperance on top, understand Temperance is Sagittarian energy, okay? And it's about alchemy. That's the beauty or light of Sagittarian energy. It's the alchemist. It takes energies within the self and is a catalyst, right? A change agent in order to turn those not so valuable parts, right? Or those insignificant or bullshit parts into something beautiful, right? Into something of value. The Temperance is an alchemist card. Okay, so it takes what is not great and turns it into something great. It's a catalyst. All right, the Two of Wands ultimately says you need to step through the door, right? Cross a threshold when it comes to sacred soulmates, and the Chariot is under that. Okay, so I'll give a great example. I'll give a great example. Maybe for the longest time, right? Because this takes it out of the realm of romance or finances. So it's just a general, right? Take it as it resonates because it's the whole point that matters. Maybe you've had a lot of quote unquote friends for a very long time that don't actually have your highest good in mind, right? Maybe they don't see your value. Maybe they don't give you what you're worth, right? Maybe they're not there for you like you would wish or hope that they would be there for you, like you would be there for them in a heartbeat. You know, like maybe you're that kind of friend that is always considerate of them, but they're not necessarily always the friend that is there at the drop of a dime or considerate of you, right? But this has been your friendship dynamic with people for a very long time, right? This has been your friendship dynamic with them for a very long time, and you're used to them devaluing you. You're used to them just, you know, not necessarily being honest with you, because maybe they do take advantage of you in some which way, shape, or form because they know the kind of friends you are. And then all of a sudden, you have someone in your life who legit cares about you, who would legit at the drop of a dime come to be there for you because you need them, right? And this person starts to act like a catalyst because they're showing you the type of friend that is more ideal than the reality of everybody else that's been in your life. And you could be like, well, my friends don't treat me that way. Yeah, but your friends aren't actually friends. Like the person who is pushing you to shift, pushing you to grow, pushing you to be better, pushing you to consider yourself, being honest with you, right? Telling you the truth when no one else will. Like, maybe you've been confronted with a real friend and you just don't know what that looks like. And so it's catalyzing and shaking a lot of things up. It's that kind of energy. Like Spirit's trying to get you to cross that threshold with the self when it comes to sacred soulmates, because the Six of Cups is after that. It could denote people who have been in your life for a long time. So, you know, friends is a great example. It could be a romantic partner. It could be family. It could be all of the above. All right, but someone is a catalyst for you, right? They're a catalyst for you in order to shift from your old, not so valuable way of being to a more golden way of being, right? Because the alchemist is famous for taking lead and turning it into gold, right? Lead, which is essentially toxic or poisonous to the self, catalyzing what was once toxic and turning it into something of real value, which is gold, right? That is the ultimate mission of the alchemist to achieve. Now, with the current pattern of self, we have the Emperor with the Ten of Swords and the Five of Pentacles. So the Emperor is the things that you're choosing, right? Divine masculine energy, it's what you're choosing. And you're choosing from a place of self-sabotage and fear of loss. You would rather sabotage yourself, maybe with a bunch of friends who aren't actually real true friends by definition, because you're afraid of having no one. Maybe you'll deal with family because, you know, despite the fact that it's sabotaging for you, because you're afraid of having no family. You know, maybe you're dealing with a sabotaging lover or have dealt with sabotaging lovers because you were afraid of losing them or losing what they're connected to, right? And maybe this pattern, even if you've confronted it in one area, have you in fact healed it in all the other areas? You know what I mean? Because this is choosing self-sabotage because of a fear of loss. Like if your friends are using you or taking you for granted and they're not actually supporting you and your life and there for you, that they would show up for you and help you when you need them like you are to them. Like, what are you afraid of losing them for? Are you afraid you're not going to find new friends that actually give a shit about you? Would you rather have friends that lie to you or don't tell you what they see or don't tell you the truth? Instead of a friend who says, hey, I love you enough to tell you? Like, you really going to be mad at the friend who shows up and is there for you? You know what I mean? Are you really going to not hear what they have to say because they're hurting your feelings? Well, you know what? Your other friends don't give a fuck about your woundings. That's why they're not bringing it up to the surface. The alchemist brings the wounds up to the surface, because it has to remove the impurities, right? In order to turn lead into gold, you have to remove impurities. That's what the people in our life who rattle us do. They're helping you see your own shadows. If they're rattling you, they're asking you to be your own divine intervention, right? To shift and move and create miracle. Create miracle energy by moving into an energetic space that is free of impurities. Don't fear loss. Don't fear loss. There's Arian, Turian, and Gemini energy on the cards. Again, Gemini energy on the cards. Piscean energy on the cards. We got, again, Mars and Aries here too. So we got a lot of Mars and Arian energy. And a lot of Geminian and Turian Sun and Mercurial energy. This may be what you're addressing in your chart, okay? Especially if you have wounds in any of these areas. With the Nine of Swords, followed by the Princess of Swords and the Knight of Cups. The Princess of Swords is beginner's mind, okay? And in this row that we're talking about, the highest good self, it's beginner's mind. It's starting over from a place of anxiety. So you may let your anxieties, right, your fear of loss, right, cause you so much anxiety that the anxiety is actually controlling your life. The fear, right, is actually controlling your life. And you need to go back to beginner's mind, right? Stop being afraid of what you'll lose when you essentially create an abundance in soul, right? Jupiter and Piscean energy. That you can create your own wish fulfillment. That it would need to be addressed. That maybe you're emotionally better off without all of the things you're afraid of losing. Your highest good aligned self will go to battle, right? Mars and Gemini, your highest aligned self will go to battle with the reality that causes you anxiety. If you have anxiety over finances, if you have anxiety over no one really being there for you or caring about you, if you have anxiety over being, you know, alone and not safe. Like, you have to be the one that goes to war against your anxiety and say, no, I will not be a victim to my anxiety. I will not be a prisoner to my anxiety. I will not let my anxiety run my life. Right? If you were drawn to this secret code name, or this is your secret code name, your anxiety cannot control your life. Your fear cannot dictate your decisions. That is ultimately what you're learning. Because what you're choosing now, your fear, is self-betrayal. What you're afraid of losing is actually causing self-betraying actions. It's causing loss. Whether you realize that's the manifestation or not. If you're consistently going through losses or at risk of losses instead of manifesting what you actually want, it's because you're making self-sabotaging choices based off of fear of loss. And it's creating or manifesting a reality, right? So Spirit is asking you to please divinely shift, right? Move forward, cross the threshold, and go to war. Go to war with your anxiety and say, no, I will not worry. I will not be afraid. Because when I let go of all the people that are not aligned in my highest good, the people that I align that are in my highest good can come in. Like, I've got to make energetic space. The beautiful energy can't come in if the space is taken up by fear-ridden choices and energy. You've got to be able to go back to beginner's mind. Like, who in your life, if you go back to childhood wounds, right? Who in your life was not good enough and yet demanded you to believe and or learn that they were good enough, or they were more than good enough, and that was acceptable? To view people who were unworthy as worthy. That you've accepted your own unworthy behavior as worthy. Who put you in a fear state of losing them? Because you won't have anything if you lose them. You won't have anybody. Who do you have if you don't have me? Who put you in that state and taught you that that was acceptable? That was an acceptable pattern to believe. Because it created an anxiety that you have to go to war with now. You've got to go back to beginner's mind before this pattern tainted your energy, right? You have to be able to create your own divine miracle. God knows you probably have catalyzing agents in your reality right now that are making it difficult for you to not shift. Matter of fact, you might be highly resistant because the Two of Wands can see the choice and knows they have to cross the threshold, but they haven't chosen it yet. You've got to be able to take that initiative, especially if a sacred soulmate, right, with the Six of Cups is offering you the divine miracle forward. They're expressing love and compassion to you and the choices that you have when you, in fact, might be confused and needing to move into a state that is not confused, right? That you might need to be inspired and have that fire under your ass in order to create that soul stability with the Four of Wands. Like, seriously, don't hate on the honest friend who loves you enough to tell you the truth that they see. The one friend who has shown up for you and been there for you more than any other friend has. Like, don't hate them for being a catalyst, you know? Take that how it resonates. You might have serious mother wounds with the Chariot card. Because the Chariot is Cancerian energy, so you might have Cancerian wounding in your own chart, and it might come from your childhood, but with your mother. All right. Like, you can address it. Like up here, the current reality, we have the Son of Mourning, the Lord of Ruin, and the Lord of Material Trouble. You've got to understand that your anxiety is the despair and cruelty you inflict on yourself. We've got the Princess of the Rushing Winds and the Lord of Material Happiness here, and that's where you should be. The rushing winds is the flood of higher perspective, beginner's mind, so that you can create material happiness instead of material trouble. So you can see things from the higher perspective instead of feeling like, you know, everything is against you. Everything's not against you. You're your worst, your anxiety is your worst enemy. You've got to be your own sunshine, you know. So I hope this helps. Let's get some guidance. Please, Spirit, for secret code name Emerald Rose. Instead of praying for an outcome, pray for the highest good of all. Instead of praying for an outcome, pray for the highest good of all. Like, don't pray for your problems to be solved, so to speak. I need this problem fixed. I need that problem fixed. I need this outcome. I need that outcome. I need this to happen. I need that to happen. Spirit, please let this happen for me so that this can be better. Please, Spirit, let this happen for me so that this could be better. And Spirit's like, just pray for the highest good of all, and then act on your inspirations, because the answers to your prayers come from within the self. Spirit answers our prayers from within the self. Spirit doesn't answer out there. The outer reflects from the inner. Spirit answers in here. We have to answer and act on our prayers in order to create the shift out there. If we fall into the trap of thinking Spirit's going to respond to our prayers and give us something different in the outer experience when we're not shifting on the inside. We, in here, are the answers to our prayers. Hell, the catalyst in your life, whoever they are, or whatever it's been, is an answer to your prayer. Because a part of you in here wants to shift and didn't know how, and so it brought you someone true. The catalyst, right? The alchemist. But you still have to choose it, being the answer to your prayer. Pray for the highest good of all, because Spirit is just. Spirit's just. You want the highest good of all, be in your own highest good energy. Be the answer to your prayers. Don't be afraid of losing anything. You shouldn't be afraid of losing things or losing people. You should be able to answer your own prayers and create an outcome to where you don't have to worry about losing anyone. Because you don't actually need them for anything, whether it's financial support, emotional support, mental support. Like, you should be able to take care of yourself. Fuck anything specific you would pray for. Next time you pray, Spirit, whatever it is, I pray for the highest good of all. I pray for the highest good of all, whatever that is, whatever that looks like. I pray for the highest good of all. Please guide me in the highest good so that I can be the answer to that prayer. Period. All right. So I have faith that will help in divine time. Secret code name Emerald Rose. Know that I absolutely love you. I love you. Okay? I love you. You can do this, right? Or Spirit wouldn't be talking to you about it. Okay? You can do this. You can be your own hero. Okay? You can be your own hero. Divine confirmation, right? You hear the train? divine love and support is with you always. Love each other, but most importantly, love yourself. Take care.